Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the Buckeye Racing Network. I'm Tyler Bentley. Alongside me in the booth, as always, is Tim Henderson. Tim, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing wonderful. How about yourself, bud?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. We are at the dirt track at Charlotte tonight for the next round of this Harvest Cup season. Looks like 30, maybe 32 drivers signed in for action, so a really great field here tonight at Charlotte, signed in to do action. Practice session is wrapping up already. We're going to roll into single car qualifying. Tib, you just wrapped up some racing action in the 305 Harvest Cup. Any things you picked up while you was racing just a little bit ago?
The high side is king in 1 and 2, and the slider line is amazing through 3 and 4. That's about all I could get out of it.
High side king in 1 and 2, and the slider line in 3 and 4. We'll see what these drivers decide to do here in qualifying. One of the first drivers out, the 07 of Michael Scurring. Works his way down the back straightaway and into turn 3 and 4 for his first lap. Cross the line there. For lap 1, he turns a 13:51 on lap number 1. Out of turn 4, across the line to complete lap 2. Scurring runs a little slower there on lap 2 at a 14 flat. He takes that 13:51. Chase Porter also turns a 13:51. Scott Thomas at a 13:54. Let's take a look at a couple of the other drivers heading out onto the racetrack. Brian Kling in the number 20 machine is rolling to start his lap. Just about ready to complete his first of 2. Crosses the line there. Complete lap 1. Looks like lap 1 for Brian not going to count. Gavin Chatham, Ty Dickinson, Caden Berry also on the racetrack. Brian Kling's second lap, a 13:62, good for 10th quick. We'll check in with our points leader, Caden Berry, as he works his way around under qualifying. Looks like he's going to be right up near the wall through 3 and 4. Crosses the line. Lap 1 for Caden. Looks like it's not going to count. Might have brushed the wall, so he's going to have to rely on his second lap here. Crosses the line. Was that a clean lap for Caden? Yes, it was. 13:73, 5th quick. Ernie Williams Jr. just went to the top of the charts with a 13:43. Awesome lap for him. As it looks like Caden Berry had one extra lap. My time in his scoring was off. He does keep that 13:73. Matt Grimm, currently second, coming into tonight's point standings, is out on the racetrack. He just turned a 13:62, good for 13th. See what happens here on lap 2. For Matt, 13:35 to the top of the board. Hank Soares in the 19 just moved into position 2 with a 13:43. Across the line there, 13:56 on his second lap. Ethan Toadter, I hope I'm saying that right, 13:25. Jeremy Steele a 13:33. Ryan Sheet at a 13:39. Really quick laps late in the qualifying session here. Barrett Bishop in the number 3 machine. Crosses the line at a 13:57, 17th quick. Casey Brunson, a 13:29, 2nd quick. Lap number 2 complete for Barrett, a 13:41 puts him at 6th. Curtis Bishop, a 13:36 puts him at 5th. As it looks like we just have maybe a couple other drivers yet to run. 30 cars have taken a time so far. Jack Burke and Dakota Osborne are the two that I see that hasn't taken up time, but just 30 seconds left on the clock here, so they don't have a lot of time to roll out onto the racetrack. All season long here in the Harvest Cup, Two Fat Guys Sim Racing Promotions has sponsored the qualifying session. The fastest qualifier here tonight, only 8 seconds left, is going to receive $5 courtesy of Two Fat Guys Sim Racing Promotions, and it looks like that is going to go to Ethan Toder here tonight with a lap time of 13.25. So congratulations to him. I believe one of his first starts here with Reigel Promotions Esports. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for heat race number 1. On the front row, Ethan Toder and Curtis Bishop. Row number 2 is going to be Ernie Williams Jr. and Dane Culver. Row number 3, Remington Wade and Richie Gaines. Row number 4 is going to be Derek Patetti and Trevor Royer. All right, Tim, I know you get the magic info. I believe we're going to be taking 4 cars from the heat.
From every feature, we are taking 4. It's 8 laps apiece. And it is showing that we have 4 heats. I cannot tell you if there's a C main right now. It is currently not grayed out.
All right, I know we'll at least have a B main tonight with 30 drivers signed in. Pardon me. Field works their way around 2 by 2 for one more pace lap as we look from high above the Charlotte Motor, or the dirt track at Charlotte, excuse me. Really good field on hand tonight. Trevor Royer didn't have the best qualifying effort, so we'll have to keep an eye and see if he's able to move up into a transfer spot. Got to pick up 3 here in this heat. Ethan Toder takes the green flag. Racing action begins here in heat race number 1. Ernie Williams Jr. makes contact with Curtis Bishop, sends him up into the outside wall. They both got together. He is on his lid. While the rest of the field races through 3 and 4, we're still under green flag conditions. We just completed lap number 1. Toder, Williams, Culver, and Patetti, your top 4, and Patetti is under fire. Richie Gaines, Remington Wade, both right there within striking distance of that final transfer spot. The top 3 are single file. As I say that, Dane Culver is closing in on Ernie Williams. Now takes a peek to the inside, down the back straightaway. Culver, Williams, a dead heat, entering 3. Now Culver's going to try to slide up. Oh, he just does, but makes contact, more contact. Culver into 2nd with the contact. Ernie Williams Jr. settles into 3rd for now. Derek Patetti still fending off the charge from Richie Gaines behind. Remington Wade starting to close in on that battle as well. Half distance, 4 down, 4 to go in heat race 1. Patetti's got to be careful. He's got 2 cars right there behind him, ready to pounce if he makes one slip up. Quick check back up front. Ethan Toder, 0.4 of a second advantage over 2nd place runner, currently Dane Culver. Ernie Williams Jr. about 1.1 seconds back. 2 to go. Richie Gaines jumped into the pits as well. Curtis Bishop there with him. Now look at Patetti, or excuse me, that's Remington Wade. He drove down to the inside to slide it. Patetti, white flag is in the air. Patetti throws a slider through 1 and 2. Remington Wade turns back underneath of him. Quick check back up front. Ethan Toder takes the checkered flag here in heat 1. Dane Culver 2nd. Ernie Williams Jr. 3rd. And across the line, they were spinning. According to what I'm looking at, Remington Wade held on there for the finish. We'll take a look. Here's the results of that first heat. So looking at it, actually, no. Trevor Royer did actually take the fourth and final transfer spot from Patetti and Wade getting together. Wow, what a finish to heat race number 1. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for heat race number 2. On the front row is going to be Casey Brunson and Ryan Sheet. Row number 2 will be Hank Taylor and Brad Lamberson. Row 3 will be Scott Thomason and J.P. Schneider. Row 4 is going to be Nick Larry and Ty Dickinson.
That finish was just under 100th of a second.
Wow. That was wild. I knew it was going to be close when they came out of turn 4 to the line, and originally my timing and scoring did not show Trevor Royer as the fourth and final transfer car, but the official results did show Royer was able to get by both cars that made contact there. So crazy finish for that final transfer in heat race number 1. Looks like JP Schneider not going to make the call here in heat 2, so 7 cars vying for those top 4 positions. Tim Henderson, get us going.
Oh boy. All right, we're going to have Casey Brunson lead him through 3 and 4, and he is going to fire away almost immediately when he got to the zone. You're going to have that 10 machine follow and chase down Casey Brunson. Hank Taylor's going to be in 3rd. Brad Lamberson settles in 4th all the way around the outside. Maybe a little contact for 3rd. Ty Dickinson gets real fishtailing all the way down. He loses about...
One car's up in the outside wall there as well.
That's Casey Brunson.
Yeah, really slow. Right front broken on that machine. He's going to take it down into the work area. Back up front, we remain under green. Ryan Sheet already up to about a second advantage. Back to Hank Taylor in 2nd, who's got Brad Lamberson and Scott Thomason right behind him. That's your top 4 that would transfer right now. Nick Larry, Ty Dickinson, both on the outside looking in, but within striking distance to take over that 4th and final transfer spot. As I say that, Hank Taylor, he's getting passed by the 27 of Brad Lamberson. Brad Lamberson into position 2. Now Hank Taylor under fire from Scott Thomason. Thomason tried to use the middle through 1 and 2. It didn't work, so all 3 of those guys now moving up to the higher lane. Nick Larry trying to get within touch of Scott Thomason in front of him. Ryan Sheets coming around all ready to take the white flag here in heat race number 2. Single file for the top 4. And out of turn 4, Ryan Sheet wins heat 2. Brad Lamberson will be 2nd. Hank Taylor 3rd. Scott Thomason will be 4th. Nick Larry and Ty Dickinson 5th and 6th. Then J.P. Schneider and Casey Brunson. Those drivers will head to the admin box B main here after a bit to try to battle their way into the feature. Heat race number 3 starting lineup. Looks like this. Row number 1 will be Jeremy Steele and Barrett Bishop. Row 2 will be Brandon Matson and Michael Skirring. Row 3 is going to be Gavin Chatham and Brian Kling. Row 4 is going to be Caden Berry and Dakota Osborne. Well, and like we said at the start of the show, Caden Berry, points leader, currently on the outside looking in, starts in the 7th spot. He's got to get into the top 4 to not have to worry about battling through the B main. We'll be keeping an eye on him as we work our way through this heat race. Like you said, Tim, there is no rear view mirrors these drivers are able to use in this series, so some of these moves with the contact sometimes just happens, especially if drivers behind and front trying sliders. Sometimes they just don't know if they are clear or not. So we have to keep an eye on any more contact as we work our way through the rest of the heat racing action. Green flag in the air. Look at Matson all the way down low. I thought he was going to try to take that spot. Caden Berry tried to jump to the inside of, I think that was Brian Kling. That did not work very well. He lost a ton of momentum. He trails the field. Lap 1 in the books. Back up front, Barrett Bishop, Jeremy Steele battling side by side for the lead. There, Steele used the outside. Matson was in the middle. Now it looks like everybody has moved up to the top side. Matson gonna throw a slider on Bishop. Bishop's gonna cross him over down the back straightaway and into turn 3. Michael Scurring right there as well. He's gonna take a peek to the inside of Matson. Nothing doing that time. Gonna stay low in 1 and 2 all the way down near the tires. Car almost goes completely around. He has to gather it back in, and he's gonna continue going. For the lead, Barrett Bishop down low. Oh, be careful. They almost made big contact for the lead. That was Jeremy Steele getting really loose out of turn 4. Got to be careful. Brandon Matson moves into 2nd. He says, thank you very much. Now the driver, the last transfer spot, that's Dakota Osborne in the 79 machine. He slides across the nose of Jeremy Steele. Jeremy Steele going to turn back underneath of him into turn 3. 5th belongs to Gavin Chatham. He's looking to get into a transfer spot. Caden Berry slides across the nose of Michael Scurring. Scurring going to try to turn back underneath of him down the back straightaway. Scurring will throw a slider of his own through 3. Berry crosses underneath of him as he takes the white flag. Back up front with leader Barrett Bishop. 4/10 of a second advantage. Couple cars getting together. Dakota Osborne was part of it. Big contact into the outside wall. Barrett Bishop wins the heat. Brandon Matson will be 2nd. Gavin Chatham 3rd. And Caden Berry was able to scoot through into 4th from the issue with, I believe that would have been Jeremy Steele and Dakota Osborne got tangled up. But Michael Scurring, Brian Kling, Jeremy Steele, Dakota Osborne will have to go into our B main this evening. Caden Berry with the last transfer spot in heat race number 3. Starting lineup for heat race number 4. Matt Grimm and Hank Soares on the front row. Alex Trzynski and Chase Porter, row number 2. Row 3 is going to be Craig Silvey and Gunnar Swindell. Row 4 is going to be Brody Duche and Jack Burke. Oh, be careful. Who was that? Maybe Gunnar Swindell hit the gas just a little early and ran into the back of Chase Porter. Thankfully, he was able to stop the car and not continue the bumper cars. But as Tim said earlier, this is going to be our 4th and final heat. Jack Burke not going to make the call, so 7 cars once again battling out for those 4 transfer spots. As the field gets the 1 to go signal. Tim, how about you get us going to start heat race number 4?
Alrighty. Matt Grimm is going to lead. Or he's going to pace the field, I should say. Through 3 and 4, the pace truck is off. As soon as he hits the Charlotte sign, he can take off. He's waiting. He's still waiting. And he fires now. He gets a fantastic launch. As we have the 23 machine looking to the inside. Alex Rzazinski looking to the inside of Hank. But Hank powers. He shoots out of a cannon out of 2. He's right up against the wall.
Oh!
He shoots out of a cannon again. Maybe a lot of contact with Matt Grimm. Matt Grimm settles in 4th.
Oh my, who was that? Got tangled up on the outside wall. Szerzynski and Gunnar Swindell. Major contact. Swindell's on his side. He's going to have to tow.
Oh.
My goodness. Craziness here in heat race number 4. Yellow flag is going to be displayed here for Gunnar Swindell. We'll take a look and try to decipher this a little bit better. You see Grimm in the black, white, and green machine. He got help down the front straightaway, almost lost control of the car, was able to gather it up. Chase Porter trying to slide up the hill, but Szerzynski was to his outside. Szerzynski got into the outside wall. Swindell got into Szerzynski, and there's the heavy contact between those two. And then also a secondary accident, I think, happened, but with the 9 of Brody Duche. You see, he entered really low on the inside. Oh, and Matt Grimm got loose out of 4 and makes contact with Duche in the 9 and spins him around. So, absolute chaos here in the first couple of laps of our 4th and final heat of the night. Updated running order for the top 4 is going to be Hank Soers and Craig Silby. Then Matt Grimm. Well, let's wait a minute.
Chase Porter's dropping to the end, and so is the race leader.
Okay, so now updated running order. It's going to be Craig Silby and Matt Grimm, 1st and 2nd. 3rd and 4th is going to be Brody Duche and Alex Szerzynski. Then Hank Soers and Chase Porter, followed then by Gunnar Swindell. Pace truck is off. Craig Silby in control. He fires at the end of the Charlotte sign. Green flag back in the air. Silby with the advantage through turn 1. Matt Grimm, Brody Duche, side by side. Duche is going to try to slide up the racetrack, and he's going to complete the pass on Grimm. Grimm makes contact with the outside wall, but crosses him over into turn 1. He's going to slide up in front of him and retake that 2nd spot. Meanwhile, Hank Soers and Duche are now side by side. Szerzynski's going to try to make it 3 wide and thought better of it. Soers slides across the nose of Duche, move him into 3rd. Szerzynski's going to try to slide them both over 2 for 1. Thankfully, he left a lane for Soers because Soers was not going to jump out of the throttle for that. And Duche was able to get back by Szerzynski. Uh-oh, Duche did not make it out of turn 4, got a little loose and made contact with Szerzynski, and that Szerzynski got the short end of the stick from that. Now Chase Porter's going to try to get up there and challenge Duche for the final transfer spot. White flag in the air. Here comes Porter. He's going to try to slide Duche and does. What's Duche going to do down here in turn 3? Duche's going to try this big slider. Completes a pass. Drag racing to the line. Chase Porter takes the final transfer spot. We'll go back and look at the final results of the heat and see who won heat race 4. That was heat race 1. So Craig Silby with the win of that 4th heat. Then Hank Soers 2nd. Matt Grimm there comfortably in 3rd. And then that awesome battle to the checkered flag. Chase Porter was able to take that from Brody Duche at the line. So Brody Duche, Alex Szerzynski, and Gunnar Swindell all will have to go into the B main here tonight. Is this going to be our admin box B main, Tim?
The C main.
Oh.
taking 4 out of the C main. They will be going to the B main
All right.
for 10 laps.
So, one of the first times this season for a C main. Row number 1 is going to be Alex Trzynski and Richie Gaines. Row 2 is going to be J.P. Schneider and Jeremy Steele. Row 3 is going to be Gunnar Swindell and Curtis Bishop. Row 4, Casey Brunson and Dakota Osborne. Row 5 will be Jack Burke. Let me take a second. Reset my timing and scoring here before we get the green flag. There we go. 10 laps the distance. Jack Burke not going to make the call, and we're taking 4 to the back of tonight's B main. Alex Trzynski will be in control for this one. Paystrick peels off. He's waiting, still waiting. Now finally fires. Green flag is in the air. J.P. Schneider into second, followed by Richie Gaines there in third, and they are beating and banging for fourth. Look at the move from Casey Brunson into turn 3. He shot out of a cannon in there as a couple of those guys made contact. Uh-oh, one car slow. That's going to be Schneider, and he makes contact with the 110. Those two go around. Yellow flag is displayed, and the 5, my goodness. That was crazy. He spun that car around and did a wheel stand all on his own. You see some beating and banging there. The 79, that's Dakota Osborne. He lost a ton of momentum. And then Schneider all the way down low. He must have got loose out of 4. The car kind of goes up the hill as he was trying to gather it back in. The 110 was committed to the outside, and Schneider and the 110 of Brunson, I think both of them kind of came together there, causing Brunson to go for a wild ride. He got up and over. The top wing came off of that car. Dakota Osborne just barely able to miss that one. Brunson and Schneider in the pit area at the attention of their crews. Again, Jack Burke did not make the call. Top 4, Alex Trzynski, Richie Gaines, Gunnar Swindell, and Jeremy Steele. Curtis Bishop, Dakota Osborne on the outside looking in. But these drivers still have some time, about 8 laps. As Space Truck is already off, we are going back to green flag racing. Look at the move for Richie Gaines through 1 and 2. More contact. Excuse me. That was Gunnar Swindell. Richie Gaines, Curtis Bishop got tangled up in 1 and 2. Both cars heavy contact with the outside wall. Back up front, Trzynski leads the way, and Gunnar Swindell with that awesome move through 1 and 2 moved him right into the second spot. He's followed by Dakota Osborne, and there's Jeremy Steele in the 4th and final transfer spot, who's got about a little over a second advantage as he gets loose out of 4. He had to save the car, and that allows Curtis Bishop to go by on the outside. Now Jeremy Steele on the outside looking in. 5 down, 5 to go in this C main. Trzynski starting to pull away up to 1.3 seconds. Now make it 1.4 as Dakota Osborne looks to take the second spot from Gunnar Swindell, and does. Dakota Osborne into P2. Gunnar Swindell back to P3. Curtis Bishop. He still holds on to the 4th transfer spot. He is 1.8 seconds ahead of 5th place runner Jeremy Steele. Jeremy Steele now being caught by Casey Brunson, who's being scored a lap down. All Alex Trzynski needs to do is be nice and smooth and bring. Oh, and he makes some contact with the outside wall. 2 laps to go this time. That allows Dakota Osborne to eat into that advantage just a little bit. Curtis Bishop now 3 seconds ahead of Jeremy Steele. Plenty clear. White flag already waving. Trzynski uses the inside here in 3 and 4. To the line, Alex Trzynski wins the C main. Dakota Osborne will be second. Gunnar Bishop will be third. And out of turn number 4. Excuse me, that was Gunnar Swindell was third. Curtis Bishop crosses the line there in 4th. Jeremy Steele, Casey Brunson, Richie Gaines, J.P. Schneider, their nights, unfortunately, will come to a close here at Charlotte. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's B main. Derek Patetti and Nick Larry on the front row. Michael Skirring and Brody Duche, row 2. Remington Wade and Ty Dickinson, row 3. Brian Kling and Alex Trzynski, row number 4. Row 5 will be Dakota Osborne and Gunnar Swindell. Row 6 is going to have one driver, and that's going to be Curtis Bishop. Well, sometimes technology, Tim, doesn't want to work with you. And tonight is one of those nights.
Well, hey, we've gone through quite a bit of racing so far tonight. At least it wasn't like, I believe it was League of Outlaws where we did a full race and then we went into the second race of the night and it immediately had an issue.
Yeah, so I guess we'll take this as a good sign. Again, Admin Box, the sponsor of the B main for each and every Regal Promotions esports event. Tim, how about you get us going here in the B main?
All right, Derek Patetti is going to be our leader. We're looking to transfer the top 4 as Patetti fires away. Skirring settles in second. Nick Larry on the chase. And Remington Wade, maybe a little contact, was in 4th. He lost the position, maybe 2. Trzynski made some contact with our 4th place runner currently.
Oh man, Dakota Osborne, Gunnar Swindell, Remington Wade all got tangled up out of 2 there. Sorry to cut you off, Tim. And Remington Wade still making contact with the outside wall through 3 and 4. Heavy damage to his machine. Brian Kling as well in the 20. All those drivers with heavy damage to start off our Admin Box B main. Let's go back, try to decipher this. I mean, you see some contact here out of 4. That's Brian Kling, and I think that is Gunnar Swindell getting together. And you see Kling's already off the pace. And then up in front of him with Remington Wade and Gunnar Swindell, they make some contact. You see Remington Wade got a little high, made contact with the wall. Swindell made contact with Wade, and then Swindell also makes contact with the 79 of Dakota Osborne. So 4 cars right off the bat with some pretty heavy damage at the start of this B main. As it looks like those drivers have made their way Well, most of them have made their way into the pit area and back out. Looks like the only driver in the pit area is the 77 of Remington Wade. So looks like the pace truck is off. We're going to have a single file restart here. Green flag back in the air. Derek Patetti, followed by Michael Skirring, Nick Larry, and Brody Duche in the fourth and final transfer spot for now. Alex Szerzynski, Curtis Bishop, Ty Dickinson all on the chase to try to race their way in. Now Szerzynski and Duche make contact. Szerzynski goes spinning down to the inside. He's going to be able to flip the car around and continue going, but well off the pace of the rest of the field, unfortunately. Back to the battle for the fourth and final transfer spot. Curtis Bishop now has it, as he's going to look to run away from Ty Dickinson, Dakota Osborne, and Brody Duche. Those three are battling side by side. Osborne blinks on the outside, but he's now going to complete the pass on Dickinson. Dickinson challenges on the low side through 1 and 2. Osborne with the momentum on the outside will complete that pass again, move him into the fifth spot. Again, now Curtis Bishop closes in on Nick Larry. He actually got to pass him out of turn 4. Up to P3 for Curtis Bishop. Michael Skirring and Derek Patetti running the bottom. And I tell you, Curtis Bishop has found something through the middle part of the racetrack as he is up 8 spots, looking for 9 out of turn 4. Not quite able to complete it there. And Dakota Osborne is following him as well.
He's also found something. He's all the way around the outside. It looked like he was wall riding at Martinsville. A little bit of that Chastain.
Oh, be careful. That got tight. Yellow flag out for the second time in this one. I have to go back and see exactly what happened. Let's keep an eye on the 9 machine of Brody Duche. Brian Kling, Gunnar Swindell to his inside. Looks like Duche and Kling make a little bit of contact through 3. And I think Duche was just trying to maybe miss Swindell, and Kling made contact with him because he was still below him. And the aftermath of Kling and Duche getting together, you see Kling has to go low to try to get around Duche, and then Kling and Szerzynski also make contact more than once. So both of those cars with more damage, unfortunately. Brian Kling, Brody Duche in the work area. Lights out on the pace truck. Derek Patetti, Michael Skirring, Curtis Bishop, Dakota Osborne would be the 4 transfers. Nick Larry, Ty Dickinson, Gunnar Swindell, Alex Szerzynski all on the outside looking in. Remington Wade as well. Remington Wade is a lap down. Derek Patetti all the way down on the inside. He waits a little bit later, finally fires, green flag back in the air. 4 laps to go in this one. Looks like everybody uses the top through 1 and 2. Ty Dickinson, Gunnar Swindell side by side into turn 3. Swindell on the outside is going to prevail. Swindell up to 6th. All the meanwhile, look at Curtis Bishop, Tim, go on the outside.
Yeah, he's got something figured out up there.
Absolutely. 3 wide for a second for the second spot. Patetti staying committed down low. Bishop staying committed up high. And we are going to have a battle for the transfer spot. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th all in your picture. White flag waving for Curtis Bishop out front. Patetti trying everything he can on the inside. Dakota, I believe Patetti is the 4th and final transfer car. Remington Wade with an issue at the line. Oh, they crashed. Derek Patetti holds off Dakota Osborne at the line. Curtis Bishop wins the V-main. Michael Skirring 2nd, Gunnar Swindell 3rd, and Derek Patetti held on for dear life at the line, crossed it just before Dakota Osborne. They actually made contact and crashed, but Dakota Osborne, Nick Larry, Alex Szerzynski, Ty Dickinson, Brody Duche, Remington Wade, and Brian Kling all will have to go home tonight as well, as we only took the top 4 from this one. 5 minutes on the clock here for our warm-up session. We're going to take a second and just show you guys the points battle coming into tonight. This isn't current. It will be current after the race, but you see Caden Berry, points leader, Matt Grimm in second, 43 behind. Brandon Matson third at 47 points behind. Trevor Royer in fourth at 97 points behind. And rounding out the top 5, Ernie Williams Jr. All those drivers are in the feature event here tonight, so we'll see if that battle widens or closes a little bit after the conclusion of our feature event. We're also going to step aside for a couple of moments to get a word from our sponsors over at Premier Racing Setups. All right, everybody, welcome back in. Just about 30 seconds left in this warm-up session. What a night of racing. The high speeds here at the dirt track at Charlotte, the close battles, the beating and banging, and cars going for wild rides already have shown the chaos in our heat racing action and our C main and B mains here tonight. Who knows what is going to happen here in this feature event? All of the contenders are in it. We're going to take a look now at our starting lineup. Once I get it here, drivers' cars cleared off the racetrack. Starting lineup for our feature event. Brad Lamberson and Dane Culver will be on the front row. Craig Silvey and Barrett Bishop will be row 2. Row 3 is going to be Ryan Sheet and Ethan Toder. Row number 4 will be Brandon Matson and Hank Soares. Row 5, Ernie Williams Jr. and Hank Taylor. Row 6 is going to be Gavin Chatham and Matt Grimm. Row number 7 is going to be Trevor Royer and Scott Thomas in row 8. Caden Barry and Chase Porter. Row number 9, Curtis Bishop and Michael Scurring. Row 10 is going to be Gunnar Swindell and Derek Patetti. All right, looks like 2 cars not going to make the call to start our feature. That's going to be Scott Thomas and Ernie Williams Jr. So 18 drivers will start here tonight. Tim, I know we do this each and every night, but who's your driver to watch?
That's going to be tough. I mean, like I said, everyone can go out here and win. But I think I'm going to keep my eye on Caden Barry. With a little luck and a whole lot of skill, he will, I would assume he will be up near the front.
I have to agree with you. I don't doubt that in the slightest. I'm going to keep my eye on his closest contender in the championship standings. That's going to be Matt Grimm in that 91 machine. But back up front, pace truck's already peeled off. Brad Lamberson steps on the gas. Green flag is in the air. We're rocking and rolling for 30 laps at the dirt track at Charlotte. Lamberson slid up the hill. Dane Culver used the outside to get his momentum up. He's going to slide Lamberson through 3 and 4 and lead lap number 1. Just behind them, Barrett Bishop into 3rd. Craig Silvey into 4th. 5th goes to Ryan Sheet. 6th to Ethan Toder. Very close battling there, side by side. Craig Silvey, Barrett Bishop. Oh, Silvey's going to get a little bit of help from Ryan Sheet. Sheet gets bumped into the outside wall. He's able to maintain control, and Sheet and Toder, heavy contact into turn number 3. That's going to bring our first caution period out in our A main. Wow, that was a violent crash.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, you see through 1 and 2, Sheet and Silvey make contact. Down the back straightaway, Silvey and Sheet get together. Sheet goes into the outside wall. And I think the right front broke on his car, and Toder was underneath of him. And Sheet and Toder got tangled up. Both cars, heavy impacts into the outside wall. I think those were the only 2 that were involved in this one. You see the wild ride that Sheet's going for. You see the rest of the field working their way by on the inside of the racetrack. So just 2 cars involved in our first caution flag of the feature. Ryan Sheet and Toder in the work area. About a minute has surpassed already. So those drivers will have roughly another minute in there to try to get back out onto the racetrack. Part of the rules in the series, the admins decided to allow a minimum of 2 minutes in the work area as long as we're not within 10 laps to go. Once we're within 10 laps to go, there is no guaranteed time in the work area.
I believe it's halfway.
Halfway, okay. I couldn't remember if it was halfway or 10 laps to go. I wanted to say it was halfway as well, but as it looks like one of the two able to rejoin. There, that's Ryan Sheet. Ethan Toder still in the pit area. But we're going double file for our restart. Dane Culver, Brad Lamberson on the front row. Culver accelerates, green flag back in the air. We are green. Oh my gosh, Culver got in the outside wall and stayed up there like the wall sucked him in. And that, oh my, 3, 4, 5 cars flipping wildly down the back straightaway. Matson was part of it. Chase Porter with heavy damage. Hank Soares in the work area. Wow. I would like to know, that started with the leader of Culver. I believe. Yeah, you see Culver up in front in that black and green 50 machine's already in the outside wall. Lamberson turns below him. Hank Soares, Craig Silby make contact trying to avoid Culver. Soares makes heavy contact with the outside wall then. Matson and Grimm make contact trying to squeeze by. There's Matson and Soares going for a violent ride down the back straightaway. Chase Porter already committed down low. He has nowhere else to go. Derek Patetti getting a little piece of it as well. So about 6 or so cars with contact in our latest incident here tonight.
Yeah, that Chase Porter ride, certainly. That's a crazy ride right there. Can we go on board? Can we see that on board?
Yeah, I believe we can. We just got to go back and find it. Well, maybe. Oh my. Here's the view on the down the back straightaway, and I caught it just a little bit too early. This is on board with Chase Porter. We're going to slow things down. You see, he got kind of loose out of two. Look at what was happening on the right-hand side. You see, there's Soares and Matson. Matson spinning down low. Porter nowhere to go. And you see the wild ride that he goes for as we're on board with Chase Porter. Craziness. Wild ride.
All right, the pace truck is in. Dan Culver's going to pace the rest of the field single file as he fires away as he reaches the Charlotte sign in 3 and 4. You have a battle for second between Barrett Bishop and Brad Lamberson. Lamberson all the way up around the high side.
Oh, more contact behind Tim Silby. Matt Grimm are second the point standings. Craig Bishop having to avoid it as well. But Silby and Grimm got tangled up together out of turn 4. That's going to bring this yellow flag out. Let's see. I saw it at the back of the screen. We'll keep an eye on this. We're going to slow things down. Matt Grimm is committed way to the outside. Silby was running about a lane off the outside, and Grimm was trying to fill the hole he seen. And Silby tried to slide up while Grimm was to his outside. And Matt Grimm gets help from behind from Trevor Royer, unfortunately. Gavin Chatham getting a piece of that as well. You see there's Bishop trying to avoid it all. as he went down into the grass areas, but Matt Grimm, Gavin Chatham, pretty good damage to their 2 race cars, unfortunately, in this one. Tough break for Matt Grimm. Hopefully he's got time to recover, so hopefully he can get that car into the work area and back out onto the racetrack. Quick update on some of the hard chargers in this one. Right now we have 2 drivers tied for that. That would be Michael Skirring in the 07, Gunnar Swindell in the 96 just behind him. Both of those drivers are plus 10 on their starting spot. Now actually plus 11 as my scoring updates. Your driver to watch, Tim, that's the 12 machine of Caden Berry. He has been slowly but surely moving his way forward, as I believe he is plus 10 from his starting spot. 16th to 6th so far, and still plenty of time to go in this one. Make it 16th to 5th once my timing and scoring updates. As Craig Silvey is in the work area.
Yeah, there was a whole lot of horseshoe action out of that 12 camp right there. I mean, he just barely got by that wreck.
2-minute timer has elapsed. Matt Grimm, second in the point standing, still in the work area. Now he is heading back out. Will just barely get to rejoin the field before we go back green. Dane Culver, Brad Lamberson, Barrett Bishop, and Hank Taylor. Your top 4, Caden Berry there in 5th. Green flag displayed once again, still 23 laps to go in this one. Caden Berry, he's going to look to take over the 4th spot, and does into turn number 3 as Hank Taylor moved down to the inside. Taylor is now challenged from the 90 machine of Trevor Royer. Royer using that outside momentum. He's going to move into the 5th spot. Hank Taylor back to 6th, but as I say that, Gunnar Swindell with a crazy move through 3 and 4. He's going to move into that 6th spot, but Taylor going to try to slide him. No, doesn't. So Gunnar Swindell into position 6. Up front, Dane Culver leads Brad Lamberson. Caden Berry's going to try to use the inside to get by 3rd place Barrett Bishop. Is he going to be able to work some magic down low? I believe he can. I know he always says he likes to work the bottom part of the racetrack, and he is down there where he wants to be.
I was trying to do that in my 305 race. I couldn't do that.
Well, Tim, not everybody is Caden Berry, and I couldn't do it either if I was in here. I would be tucked up on the outside groove with most of the others. I think it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of throttle control to run down there. But there's battles all throughout the field. We're going to skip back a little bit. Michael Skirring, Ethan Toder side by side. Toder to the inside, Skirring on the outside. Toder's going to complete the pass for now into P8. Skirring back to 9th. Soares close enough to challenge in there in 10th. Then behind them, that's Taylor. Taylor and Porter was side by side for a minute. Porter into 11th now. Quick check with Matt Grimm. As we saw, he had some issues. He's into 16th with a host of cars in front of him, so he has some points to get if he can work his way through. Back up front, still Dane Culver and Brad Lamberson 1st and 2nd. Caden Berry has moved into 3rd, and he's moved up to the top side with everybody else. Ryan Sheet following him there in 4th. Then it's Barrett Bishop, who was 3rd, lost a couple of spots, now finds himself in 5th. And then Trevor Royer and Ethan Toder. Toder to the inside. He's going to try to complete the pass.
Leaders.
Michael.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh yeah, Michael Skirring was part of that, and I think a few others. And Michael Skirring, Brandon Matson getting together. Let's go back and try to decipher that. A little bit anyways. Oh, you see some contact out of 2 with Skirring. And I believe that's Hank Soares. Let's see what happens into 3. Well, Soares did not give much room to Skirring, and they got tangled up. Both cars into the outside wall. Heavy contact. Does anybody else get caught up into it? Yep, there's Brandon Matson coming along in the 21. Getting collected up into that one. Gavin Chatham there in the 99. There's Matt Grimm in the 91. He's going to take his car into the grass area to get by as cleanly as possible. I know you said something about the leaders, Tim, just as the accident happened. What did you notice up front?
The leaders, Dan Culver, and if I can, and why is it doing this? Nope, I keep pressing the wrong buttons here. Dan Culver and Brad Lamberson made some big contact out of Ford, and they really got saved by the yellow. Gabe Barry was coming.
Yeah, Barry on the inside, working his magic. Brad Lamberson up high, Dan Culver up high. Ryan Sheets going to try to work through the middle part of the racetrack. 3 wide for just a moment for the lead. Yellow flag displayed once again. I believe it happened with the 3 machine of Barrett Bishop. Barrett Bishop all the way down on the inside. Oh, Derek Patetti and I think that Swindell got together. Bishop had nowhere to go. Could not avoid the Swindell machine spinning. Those two get together and go sliding down the back straightaway, bringing out this recent caution. Like Tim said, we are now past the halfway point, so no guaranteed time in the work area. As I believe we're going to get a single file restart here. Tim, how about you get us going?
All right, Brad Lamberson's going to lead the field. Once again, single file restart. He can go whenever he hits the Charlotte sign in 3 and 4, and he waits till...
Uh-oh!
We got a wreck right off the bat.
We're still under green, but Sheet's going to have to get that car turned around. He's stopped at the exit of turn number 4, and the yellow flag's going to get displayed as here comes the field. I'm not sure why Sheet stopped right there at the exit of turn 4. Let's take a look at this. Tim said we had a crash right as soon as we took the green. Did we have a case of people trying to jump the start? It looks like Sheet hit the gas. The car got sideways, and Toter was right there, actually underneath of him, and that's what caused this incident. Those two tangled up. And I think everybody mostly avoided that. Hank Taylor got a little piece of it. We see Ryan Sheet gas it up, and then he just stopped right there at the exit of turn 4, so race control had nothing to do but throw the yellow flag before the rest of the field made contact with Sheet in the 10 machine. 10 laps to go in this one. Well, just about. I think we still got 11 laps to go. At the line, updated top 5 running order. Brad Lamberson, Caden Berry, Dane Culver, Chase Porter, and Matt Grimm has found his way back into the top 5. Lamberson fires at the end of the Charlotte sign. Green flag back in the air. 10 laps to go. Berry staying committed down low. Almost able to move up and complete that pass. Big time slider coming this time through 3 and 4. Lamberson going to try to crossover move down the front straightaway into turn 1. Lamberson, big time slider of his own through 1 and 2. Takes back the lead momentarily. What does Berry do in 3 and 4? He's going to drop it down to the inside. Lamberson is going to stay committed to the outside. At the line, 8 to go this time. Caden Berry off of the bottom to the lead. He retakes it. Let's see what happens through 3 and 4. I'm telling you, Dane Culver, he's going to be part of this before it's said and done. Oh my, be careful. Culver did tag Caden Berry from behind. Berry spun. He's going to regain control, but all the way back to the 11th spot, unfortunately, as Culver and Berry made contact. Culver misjudged the entry on how fast he was compared to Berry. Now Matt Grimm has to check up his, he's almost collected together with Culver. Back up front, Brad Lamberson, a 1.5 seconds advantage as he crosses the line with 5 laps to go. Chase Porter into second. 3rd and 4th is going to be Dane Culver. Derek Patetti is there side by side. Brad Lamberson wants to see this race go green to the end if possible, as he's now 2 seconds ahead of Chase Porter. Derek Patetti is in 3rd. Now Megan Dane Culver is right there as well. Culver still on the outside. Patetti through the middle part of the racetrack. Trevor Royer following Culver on the outside as we get a fierce battle for that final spot on the podium. 2 laps to go at the line this time. Berry has recovered and into the top 10 as he works the bottom through 1 and 2. Back up front to the leader, Brad Lamberson. He makes contact with the outside wall, and we have a yellow right before he took the white flag. As he was coming to the line, I think Dane Culver had an issue. Let's see exactly what happened. Down the back straightaway, Culver had to get on the brakes. Oh, yep, he tried to check up to miss Porter, and Culver, heavy contact in the outside wall. Actually goes flipping down the back straightaway. Ryan Sheet gets collected as well. Wow. More chaos before the end of this one. Brad Lamberson was, I don't know, maybe 30 feet from the start-finish line to take the white flag to finish this thing under green, but he's going to have to deal with another restart and try to hustle his way back around to get to the white flag. Because as long as he takes the white flag, regardless of what happens behind him, the race will finish that lap. But you can kind of see the chaos we've had tonight. A host of drivers out. You'll see that on the left-hand side of the screen there. Looks like 12th on back, all out of this one. 11th on back make it. So just 10 drivers remain for our green-white checkered finish. Green flag back in the air. Lamberson, Porter, and Royer, your top 3. Derek Patetti trying to hold on to 4th from Matt Grimm. Look at Toter. He's going to try the big-time slider, and he's not all the way clear. Patetti, Toter get together. Matt Grimm a part of it as well, but we did take the white flag, so this race will finish. Brad Lamberson through 3 and 4 to the start-finish line. Brad Lamberson, I believe, a first-time winner with Regal Promotions Esports here at the dirt track at Charlotte. Trevor Royer comes home in the second place spot, and Chase Porter rounds out the podium. We will get to talk to those drivers in just a few moments here. We will get to look at our final results, though, before we do so. Let's get the feature results. Brad Lamberson, Trevor Royer, Chase Porter, your top three. Ryan Sheet's going to get credited with fourth. Fifth's going to go to Hank Taylor. Sixth is going to go to Matt Grimm. Seventh to Caden Berry. Eighth's going to go to Michael Scurring. Ninth to Derek Patetti. 10th's going to go to Ethan Toder. 11th to Dane Culver. 12th to Gavin Chatham. 13th to Brandon Matson. 14th to Gunnar Swindell. 15th goes to Curtis Bishop. 16th to Barrett Bishop. 17th goes to Hank Soares. 18th is going to go to Craig Silby. 19th is going to go to Ernie Williams Jr. And 20th to Scott Thomason. Well, if we can, we're going to get to talk to our top three here. I'm just waiting to see, hopefully, our top three available. Here, up to this point, I don't see anybody yet available to talk to. At the end of this one, we'll give them a couple moments. I believe race control admins might be going through a few things. Tim, what did you think of the finish of that one? I believe we may have lost Tim Henderson. And do have one driver available for an interview. That's going to be our second place finisher
Hello?
tonight. Hey, Tim, I got you.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I'm not sure either. But we do have one driver available to talk to. That's going to be our second place finisher, Trevor Royer. Hey, Trevor, it's Tyler and Tim up in the booth. Do you got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
All right, man. Well, you were able to work your way up to a second place finish, plus 11 from your starting spot. I know all night it seemed like there was chaos, drivers getting together, crazy wrecks happening.
Yeah.
How were you able to avoid as much of that as possible and work your way forward?
Honestly, I don't know. I didn't avoid all of it. I got caught up in Matt Grimm and Sylvie's incident there, and I didn't think my car was damaged, but on that restart, I could definitely tell something wasn't right. So when we got another yellow, I went and got my fast repair, and yeah, getting back up to second, I really don't know. I pretty much just sold out on the top and survived somehow. Tonight was a real shame for this league because I love running this league, but um, between I don't know if you guys could tell on the broadcast, but the gearing and the setup was too short, so you're like on the chip all the way around the track, and it's hard to race like that. And between that and the amount of guys just showing no respect on the racetrack, I know it's a game, but there's still people on this game that treat it like it's the real thing because they don't have the real thing. So, yeah, I got second place, but I mean, half the field DNF'd. I was just one of the survivors. I went from the front to the back to the front to the back and managed to get a good finish out of it. I would say it's cool to finish on the podium, but when this kind of racing's going on in a league, when a league is supposed to be I wouldn't say a safe space, but better quality racing than we get in officials that anyone can just sign up and run. So it's a real shame that the race ended up like this. Charlotte's one of my favorite tracks. Like the little bit there I was running the top at the end, I was having a lot of fun putting my right rear on the cushion and trying to get the most out of the car. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. I know sitting here for over an hour, watching cars pace around at 45 miles an hour is probably not the most exciting thing. But either way, I appreciate you two guys for doing this.
Well, absolutely, and like you said, it was a rough night for. It seemed like most of the drivers here, and just trying to avoid as much of that as possible, and try to run your race to the best of your ability. And you definitely did that, Trevor. And Tim, do you have anything to ask Trevor before we let him go?
Yeah, Trevor, I seen a couple drivers throughout the night try and run that high side, and they end up smacking the wall and breaking their car or losing a ton of momentum. What's so difficult about running around the outside here?
Uh, well, your right rear is right up against the fence all the way around for one, and especially coming out of four, there's kind of like a hump that when you get on it right, it makes you faster, but it also wants to yank you towards the fence. So I really had to manage my throttle control and exit there. I feel like that was one of the spots I was gaining pretty good. 1 and 2, I could pretty much flat foot it. If you hit it right, you can flat foot all the way around that corner. I think I tapped the wall a couple times in 1 and 2, but nothing too crazy that really hurt me.
Well, Trevor, as the chaos of the night comes to a close, anybody you need to thank for the effort?
Thank my team, Black Diamond Motorsports. We had a couple guys in that race. I think only Ryan and myself were able to make the A. So shout out to them for coming and running. I know a lot of them have the same opinion as me when it came to everything that went down in that session. But I want to thank Ultimate Dirt TV, 19 Designs, Tim's Dirt Track Simulators, Ben and Andrew for putting this league on. I know they put a lot of time and effort into this league, so it really sucks to see. Like I said, it sucks to see the product come out that way. But I do want to thank you guys again for putting on the broadcast and just being there every week to put on a good broadcast and give some good commentary for sometimes not great racing.
Absolutely. We certainly try our best up here in the booth. Well, Trevor, I'm sure we've taken up enough of your time. We'll let you get on with your evening activities, and a good second place run for you here tonight.
Yep. Thank you guys very much.
That was our second place finisher, Trevor Royer. Well, unfortunately, Tim, I don't see first or third available for an interview tonight, so it looks like our interviews will be cut just a little bit short here at the dirt track at Charlotte. Any closing thoughts from you tonight, Tim?
I think it was just hard racing. Everyone wanted to prove something tonight, and it's unfortunate that we had the turnout that we did, as a couple drivers have said. But still, an awesome night for racing. Outside of that,
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as I know, probably was some new faces. I know we saw pointed out a few on the broadcast. And some new faces with the series tonight here at the dirt track at Charlotte. So maybe some speed bumps and, from the little bit I'm seeing from race control and just some driver feedback there talking to Trevor Royer, it seems like some frustration for sure on the driver's side of things. They wanted to put on a better product, expected a better product here tonight. But with every series, you're going to have some bumps along the way. It's not always super easy going, and Charlotte just proved to be a little difficult here tonight. But we'll learn from it and move forward. I know, Andrew and Ben, we'll get everything sorted out, and we'll be racing again next Monday night right here on the Buckeye Racing Network. Upcoming for us, we're going to be off until Sunday night. We're going to have the next event for the League of Outlaws at 9 o'clock this coming Sunday night. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Certainly appreciate you watching each and every week with us right here on the Buckeye Racing Network. But that's going to do it for us. For Tim Henderson, I'm Tyler Bentley. Good night, everybody.